1 in 4 women in this country will have an abortion by the age of 45. In 2008, the DCSF announced that the teaching of sex and relationship education is to be made compulsory in schools. Exactly how the new SRE programme will address abortion is uncertain, but it is likely it will at least be an optional element. Many teachers feel anxious about teaching this contentious subject, yet it is being taught in a number of schools, both in PSHE and RE lessons. To find out more, we visited a school where the pupils helped design the SRE curriculum, a sexual health centre where young people are being advised about abortion in their communities, and to start with, Charles Edward Brooks School in South London, where they're tackling abortion education head-on.
Leanne, what do you think your real choice would be? What would you do?
I'd have an abortion.
An abortion. What would you do?
Keep it.
You'd keep it. What would you do? Is your hand up?
I don't have a clue.
Right, that's actually very real. Wouldn't know.
I would have the baby and give it up for adoption.
Okay. We're a girls' school, so the issue of abortion is obviously going to be essential. Being in Lambeth, having such a high rate of unwanted teenage pregnancies, we have to address this issue. So it isn't a question of choice, I don't think. I think it's essential that we teach this. We're a Church of England school. On roll, we have about 900 young people, and the backgrounds vary. We have obviously a large number of African and Caribbean students, but we also have a growing number of European immigrants. I think there's something like 50 languages spoken here. It's a broad spectrum. The benefits are that people come from so many places. Obviously, they come with a variety of ideas. Lessons are almost always going to be a bit more interesting because you have so many experiences that people are able to draw from, and backgrounds, religious expectations and religious teachings.
For someone to decide that they don't want the child, as in to remove that life from someone, I think, to me, that's murder. It's the same as pulling up a gun and shooting someone. To me, that's what abortion is.
At first, I thought abortion was completely wrong, but that was because my aunt used to always think that, and I just think, yeah, she must be right. But then as so many young people started to get pregnant, I just thought, well, all these young people can't just keep popping out these babies. It's just not going to be good for them.
You believe that life is given by God? And because it's given by God, what must happen? It needs to be respected. It's only God that can do what? Take it away. Right. So that
being a Church of England school doesn't actually get in the way of the delivery of abortion education. What we insist on is that every child has a balanced education. Therefore, in RE, they will talk about it from a religious aspect and point of view. And in PSHE, I will give them the facts of what an abortion will actually do. Last time we were together, we were talking about abortion, and I said to you, what I want you to do is go and get some pictures of fetal development. What you should have is something that looks a little like this. Who can tell me why I asked you to do this, Zara?
So we can talk about how far the baby develops when you can have an abortion.
All right. And who?
I was first aware of abortions around the age of probably 11 because I used to watch a lot of soaps, and obviously it happens a lot in soaps because soaps do have a lot of drama and abortions always come up. And I think that's really bad because a child is a blessing. I think a child is a blessing. I think that's really bad. But then when you watch soaps, the circumstances in which they have abortions are often bad circumstances. For example, rape, examples where a baby would not be appropriate in a person's life.
We were speaking about the subject of abortion with my mum, as I come from a Christian-based household, so it was just something I asked my mother randomly. I was like, Mum, what do you think about abortion? And she said to me, well, if a person can lay down and make a child, then they should be able to take care of it, as it's the repercussion of having unsafe sex.
Like, no, I've got a job, a house, a blah, blah, blah. Really?
But you can't do that.
Do you think that that's actually going to be the way? I'm not saying that it won't be.
Yes.
You think it will?
But some things happen under pressure. Exactly. Under pressure.
And beyond pressure.
Well, you shouldn't be in a relationship where you feel you are pressured. Things happen. You could just say, listen. Your mum.
Listen to her.
Wait, listen. Your mum. You're telling your mum you're going to the library, and just say you've got a boyfriend, and because your mum tells you. Wait, listen. Your mum tells you don't have a boyfriend. Girls are rebellious. They're gonna and say, oh, my mom said I shouldn't do it, so I'm going. Yes, some girls. So well, I'm going to do it, and then you go along and you're having fun, and things happen. It's not like you're planning to do it; it just happens. Boundaries.
You're having fun, yeah? Having fun 10 feet away.
I actively encourage the strong views of my students. I want them to debate. I want them to be passionate about what they feel, because that is the journey. If they came in with no opinion, then at least come out with one by the end of it. And I don't think it's possible to do that if it's just about the teacher being at the front. It has to be about the young people engaging, talking, really thrashing out what they understand and what they feel. When it's then met with information, that's when you have the real journey taking place of moving from a position of perhaps passion, but not necessarily knowledge, through to a position of absolute understanding. Okay, what did you want to add to that?
Don't you need to go and see a doctor?
I need to see a doctor. Having seen one doctor, is that enough?
No.
How many doctors make the decision? All right, two. Two doctors are going to make the decision as to whether or not I am able to terminate my pregnancy. Did you want to say something?
Don't they only make the decision after 24 weeks?
No, not at all. When you first go to see the person at the clinic, they will say, fair enough, you now need to see a medical professional, who then will have to find someone else to agree that it's okay for you to have your pregnancy terminated.
My views started to change on abortion, because even though people always say that you shouldn't get yourself in a situation, it does happen. It happens a lot. And it's not fair for someone, just because they made a mistake, for them to have the baby just because their parents think it's right.
You learn to listen and to hear other views and to understand other views, and you actually get to think from a different perspective. You see things in another way.
Let us try to remember then the procedures that go on. Is it just a case of I turned up, I took a couple of tablets and it's over? No. All right, it obviously is not. You've got to go through the waiting to find the time, which means all the time this fetus is developing. It means you've got to then have an appointment at a clinic. Again, that's more time while this fetus is developing. If you're going to say, and many people do, oh, but you know, you're killing a baby, well, at what point should we try our best to get this done? Obviously before the 12 weeks. So when, like Zara's character, she doesn't know what to do, what is the one bit of advice you would certainly give any person who did not know what to do?
Make a decision quickly.
Try to make the decision quickly, and what else?
Think about the disadvantages and the advantages of you terminating the baby.
Yeah, and I would say go and get some professional advice. I think that's the very first thing you should do. The person who you see at the clinic is not going to direct you in one way or the other. They are going to give you factual advice, which will enable you to make that decision a little easier.
In 2007, over 20,000 teenage girls had an abortion in this country. We talked to many young women who have had to make this difficult decision. In order to describe their experiences without revealing anyone's identity, we engaged the help of an actress. The character Emma thinks she might be pregnant. She's heard from a friend about the Camberwell Sexual Health Centre. It's a state-of-the-art facility and an example of how the NHS is developing its services to make them more accessible to young people.
Pregnancy test.
Okay, have you been in before?
No.
Come with me, I'll get you booked in.
Okay, thanks.
What we've tried to create here is an atmosphere that's much more friendly and welcoming than sexual health services have traditionally been. The meeters and greeters, for example, that's a new role. That's about bringing people from behind the desks and welcoming people to the centre so that it's not intimidating, that people feel comfortable coming in. Lambeth and Southwark has got some of the worst sexual health in the country. We've got very high HIV rates, we've got high teenage conception rates, high abortion rates, high chlamydia rates. So, you know, we know that there are sexual health issues that people locally face, and that's also one of the reasons why we wanted to do something different. And it was really, really important that we got the Camberwell Sexual Health Centre right to try and help people with some of those issues. A lot of our young clients in particular find out from their friends. We've also got good links with schools and local community organisations that are going into those places and talking to kids and young people about sex and services. So we've got good links with those. But probably mainly word of mouth, and the news is spreading like wildfire. The number of clients coming in now is about 20,000 a year, and that's an increase of about 70%. And we're seeing a higher number of men using the service than ever before, and the number of young people using the service has doubled, which is great.
Come in, have a seat.
Thanks.
Welcome to the clinic, Emma. What can we do for you today?
Missed my period, and I think I might be pregnant.
Okay. How long ago was your last period?
I think about 6 weeks ago.
Okay, and you normally have a regular period every month, roughly?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll do a pregnancy test in a moment. First of all, I'm going to just tell you about your options. Now, if this is a positive pregnancy test and you wanted to continue with your pregnancy, what you'd have to do is go to your GP and let him or her know that you're pregnant and book in for maternity services. And that will get you involved with the midwife and all the services that are associated with being pregnant. If the pregnancy test was positive and you didn't want to continue with the pregnancy, I could give you the information that you need in order to end the pregnancy. And that would involve contacting a central booking service. Now, we'll do the pregnancy test now, and I can tell you a little bit more about those options in a moment. Okay, Emma, have you got your sample of urine, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. Would you mind just opening it up?
We can also give people information about adoption agencies if that was something that people want to explore as well. So we've got all of that information available here, so we can talk through those options.
Now, looking at this test now, the pregnancy test has come up positive. So, really we're in a situation of you considering what you want to do. You don't have to decide anything now, but you know your options in terms of continuing with the pregnancy, and I can give you a bit more information if you wanted to also consider not continuing with the pregnancy. Have you any thoughts at the moment?
I don't want to continue with it.
Okay. What's really important at the moment for you to know is that your choice is the most important thing at the moment. That's how we provide these services and how the Termination of Pregnancy Service views women using the service. Your choice is the most important, and you're not going to go through a situation where you're going to be judged. You're attending a service where women are supported. Okay. And I think you'll get the necessary reassurance as you actually go through this process if you choose to. Okay. Now what I'll show you now is some information about the Central Bookings Service. What you need to do is, if you want to get in touch with them to start this process off, you need to give them a call on this number.
The more that we can talk to young people in schools about sexual health and the issues that they might face, the better. I think that will also help us hopefully see over time and in the long term a big shift in attitudes towards sex, in attitudes towards sexual health, abortion.